sort of not as informed.
Jordan.
Yeah. What's the
Look,
immediate?
I'm going to tell you things that maybe not most Jordanians will focus on, but this is what it is to me.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay. Jordan is not just Jordan. Jordan is Jordan and Palestine. Back in history, it was both Jordan and Palestine. It was never really two countries. It was just that naturally it had a river, just like Egypt has the Nile. We cannot say, like, it's two different Egypts. Yeah? Okay, so it's the same. There's the river Jordan there, and then there's the east, and then there's the west of the river. So to me, I have never, ever, ever, ever felt, despite the fact that people like to talk about these things, that there is a separation. As people or as culture, really. I mean, I have never felt like my Palestinian family acts different from my Jordanian friends. It's never happened. Then comes the proof. The proof comes with food. Because I have never, ever, ever entered a Jordanian home and felt like we don't cook this food, we don't know this food, and it's not part of our menu or their menu, or if I can even use that ours and theirs, because honestly, it is all of us. It kind of applies also to Syria and Lebanon because we share a lot of the foods. This is the Levant, and the Levant has always been one big, nice basin of amazing products and ingredients that grow naturally, and so we have the same foods. But in Jordan specifically, culturally as well, we're not very different. The uniqueness of Jordan comes in the Bedouin culture, okay? Because the Bedouin culture is, and even to the Jordanians themselves, there is variation with the areas as to the Bedouin culture, which is only normal. The Bedouin lifestyle is a lifestyle that moves from one area to another, and it will be influenced by the weather, will be influenced by the terrain, will be influenced by the hardships, and so it will be a little bit different from the urbanized communities, which, by the way, now the Bedouin culture as well is not necessarily, because there was a time, me in Jordan, so I'm not talking about a very, very long time ago, where the Bedouins still moved, and we'd have, they will come and the tents are put up, and they live the full summer in our area, and then winter they leave because it gets cold. And we know that these people only come during that time. So, cuisine-wise, you will have this slight variation where there is the Jordanian cuisine, generally speaking, is 100% influenced by the Bedouin cuisine. And then you get the more recent part of Jordanian cuisine that is also influenced by the urbanization of Jordan and the influx of Palestinians. Now, of course, there's influx of so many people now, but at that time, it was just the Palestinians, or let's say mainly. Okay. And then, saying that, it was kind of like the country, Greater Jordan or Greater Palestine, let's call it, because it will only do justice if we do both sides. So one area was mainly the desert and the Bedouin life, and one area was more urbanized. And eventually when the two areas intermingled properly, like they should have from the beginning, the cuisines got mixed together. You will find that Jordanian Bedouin influence inside urban Palestine from as old as, I'd say, like ages ago. Like you can't even, some of them you can't trace, which is, for instance, Mansaf, the iconic Jordanian dish. And by the way, yes, 100% started in Jordan. Jordanian cannot, because there is some people who say, no, it's Palestinian. No, it's Jordanian. However, there is Palestinian Mansaf, and the Palestinian Mansaf inspired by the Bedouins in Jordan and most likely brought through the south of Palestine by the moving Bedouins. And of course, there's variation in the way that it's done, but then again, today, even Jordanian families will carry out either or recipe depending on how much you like the sharpness of the fermented goods, Jameed. Because Jameed is a very distinct flavor. Some people will make it less sharp by adding yogurt when they're cooking. Some people will go hardcore Bedouin style, which is the full thing, and no relief for the palate. But here's the thing. Mansaf today talks about, to me, is the story of mechanization of things. At that time, there was no machines, there was nothing, there was even no fridge, no electricity, nothing. And maybe today, if you want to live the Bedouin lifestyle, you won't have access to all of this. So it is about how we preserve and how we sustain ourselves and how we continue even in the most dire of situations when we have nothing and we just have that goat and we need to make sure that we survive, us and the goat, and that's what Mansaf is about. So Jordan to me is really the story of the move of people, and I think it's so apparent in its cuisine, because today you'll find Iraqi influence, but we're talking modern, we're not talking about authentic, original, historical cuisine. We're talking about today. If we're to look at it, you'll find the Iraqi influence, 100% Syrian influence, very specific Syrian influence that comes from areas like Aleppo, and that is where it becomes just so interesting. If we were to put, again, the positive, negative, put the negative of the situation on the side and look at what's happening today and the creation that we are witnessing. So Jordan is, to me, its story just tells you the story of the move of people of this area. It's always been housing all people, and so housing all cultures and cuisines. The fact that it's so rich in ingredients, you'll find that the cuisine is rich with options and varieties and ways to do things, and you'll find that people never tire with coming up with new things. That's why I would say that Jordanian cuisine to me is somewhat young cuisine apart from the Bedouin cuisine, because all of it is just about, okay, so we have this, what are we going to do with it? Okay, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, put it here, put it there, and people are just sharing these recipes. The Bedouin cuisine is old and is based on cuisines of areas like Saudi, very influenced by Farid, for instance.
So I'm curious, you brought up the Mansaf, and you brought up, how is that then manifest in a dish like Mansaf? What is it in there? Break it down for us, the connections between that.
So, Jameed bowl, you have to see it.
Perfect.
Yeah? Yes. Okay, so Jameed is all about, we get the goat milk. And we don't have fridges. And in April, the goat will have the baby, and it will start you can have milk forever. But then also we need to move. And I think that's the key word in the Bedouin cuisine. Bedouin cuisine is not just seasonality. It's we need to move. The Bedouin's house, he moves and he moves everything with him. So any sustenance, any food, any water, anything, it all has to move with them. So think in that mindset. And that's the nice thing about this kind of food. It puts you in a place to think what would happen if I was there? How would we live? Think of the genius. These people found a way to get that milk and sun dry it and ferment it. The sun drying means that it lasted for long. The fermentation, that's the Jameed bowl. That is 100% pure goat's milk mixed with what we call salmon, and salmon is fat that is mixed with spices and stuff.
Where's the fat derived?
The fat, it's butter. It's really the butter.
So it comes with
but you can smell it, and you can smell the goat.
Yeah.
There's no mixing this with anything. Yeah. And that flavor, I'm telling you, there's nothing like it. Okay. Now these people found a way to reduce full milk into this, and then this gets rehydrated and gives you back yogurt. And that yogurt you mix with a little bit of water, which of course broth, but let's talk very Bedouin essential now. A little bit of water, a little bit of meat, which most likely is some dried meat as well, and you got yourself something that you cannot beat. And then in Jordan, back when it was allowed, I'm not going to say more about this topic, when we could have our own wheat and we could mill the wheat, and people would make the bread, have this with bread. I mean, they're having a royal, lavish meal for Bedouins who are on the move. Today we're discovering fermented foods. We're talking about them. These people, I mean, this was... Yeah. And it's not just that, it's sustenance.